friends, it's Star Thrifter, and I have part 2 of newbie sellers on eBay. Some information that may be beneficial if you're kind of new in regards to selling on eBay. If you've not watched any other videos before, I sell full-time on eBay, and I also sell on Poshmark, and I've been selling since about 2015. I wasn't full-time at the beginning. Anyhow, if you watched my last video, I was talking about some shipping supplies and some supplies that you'd want to pick up, and I brought the stuff to show you. Anyways, I sell mostly clothing, but I also, when I sell shoes, I put them in these also. And you could put other items in these, but these are the clear bags. And I order these right on eBay, and you probably get them on Amazon too, but they already have the plastic warning printed on them. And they have a little tear off sticky that you just, fold it down. And I like to put the clothes nicely nicely folded in this, and then I slip this in a poly mailer bag. But I also use this for my shoes. If the shoes are too big for them to go in, both in the same one, or if you don't want them to like scuff against each other when they're shipping, I put just one shoe in one bag, and then that way I use 2 of them for the pair. But in regards to the poly mailer bags, I had mentioned that you could order just the regular ones, and I ordered these on eBay. And you can order a really neat, different designs. You can order, really cool colors and things like this. And but this also has the tear off. And even though when I ship and I do the tear off and I make sure it pushes it real hard, I happen to live in one of the states where it gets cold. And especially I notice in the wintertime, you want to really make sure that your tape is really sticking. And I still put a piece of tape across here, or I'll do it across the ends here just to secure it after I, pull the thing, because these don't stick quite as nicely as the ones that you actually can buy from eBay. But these are really nice. I think these might be like a, I should have measured these. These might be the 10 by 14, but that's just like one average size. You can order really small ones. You can order large ones. And I get quite a few. The more you order at one time, obviously, the less expensive it's going to be. But when you're first starting out, you might just want to order a very small amount. These are the ones that I get that are actually from eBay. And I had mentioned on the last video that if you have an eBay store, every quarter you get a $50 coupon you can use towards your shipping supplies, and that's when I order these. However, sometimes I'll pay for some extra, because these are really nice quality. They're thicker mill than the other ones, and the sticky is a lot nicer. They stick a lot nicer, but they're a lot more money than the other ones. It all just depends. But I've tried to look up the other ones per mill, and they don't ever list that because the mill is how thick it is. But anyhow, these are really nice. You can order different sizes, and this is the one size that I use very commonly. And then if you're gonna mail something, the padded flat rate, I said I use these a lot. I get these free from the United States Postal Service, and these are my favorite ones. And I can ship, a lot of different clothing in these. Even pants will usually fit in these. And anything that's over 16 ounces is going to have to go priority. And I do this. This is a flat rate. And if you buy your shipping label off from eBay when you sell your item, right now the price on this, at least for mine, is $8.30. I charge the customer like $8.90. I do charge for shipping, because then because that fluctuates sometimes, and if these listings are up for quite a while, then you got to try to find all the ones that are, over a pound versus your ones that are first class. What if they're up for a year and postage goes up? And then 2, cover some of your shipping supplies. But these are padded, and these are really nice. You can also get these that are not padded. And I also have put some shoes in there, like really flat sandals or something like that, where I knew it wasn't going to hurt the shoe. Most of the time, you're probably going to want to use a shoe box. And this is another option from the United States Postal Service. And these shoe boxes are really great. And I also ship sometimes other things like heavy sweaters and things. I'll use this size. And for Poshmark, I use this size for a lot of times. And it's just a real nice size. It's it fits just excellent for shoes. It would fold, up to that portion there would be, you know, it. And these are really great. And it says right on the site when you order these, it'll say the shoe box. These are not flat rate, meaning they're not like a set rate. What you do is you order these for free through the United States Postal Service. And then let's say I sold a pair of shoes on eBay. And I go to my sold items and I click on it to buy my shipping label. And at the top, I'll put in the dimensions, the height, the width, and the length. And you'll do that on your poly mailers too. I have that saved on all of mine in a template for like the clothes. That's all going to be about the same, but the shoes might be different. And then you're going to weigh it. That's when you're going to want to have your scales. You just buy a little set of scales. I mentioned that last time. Then you weigh it. You put your weight in. Then you purchase your label and you put it on here. It's not a prepaid set amount. However, they do have some boxes that are prepaid. They'll call, you know, like a flat rate, and you don't want to get the two mixed up because you don't want to ship one of yours. You're putting a label on one that's a flat rate because it has to go flat rate. Make sure it's not a flat rate when you order them. But, you know, these are free too, and these are really great. And then, in regards to shipping, I first started out just using my regular, I think I had like a laser printer, usually just a regular printer, you know, like for printing regular pages out. And what I would do is I would just print my shipping label off from eBay, just on the piece of paper, plain piece of paper. And it used to have the label, and then it would have like a little, like receipt portion here, and I would cut it in half and just cut the label out. Now I don't have that because I've changed my printing setup, and I actually use a, finally, after a lot of years, I use one of the little label printers, and oh my gosh, they were excellent. But it changed the size. Even if I print it on this page, it might just be like a half a page. And then I would just cut it out, the whole thing, and make sure that everything is showing, and then I would tape it on my package. I taped over the barcode, and that's up to you. Some people say you shouldn't, but I always worried, you know, would it get ruined during shipping or torn, or if you're using an inkjet, I think it was, if they get wet, then that smears. I taped over it, didn't ever have an issue. However, you're going to want to make sure that tape is completely flat. Don't have any wrinkles in your tape or seams. Make sure it's completely flat, and they can still scan it. I did it for years that way. However, I just got the little label printer, and these are the little labels, and these are really great. It saved a lot of time and money. I have to admit that, a lot, because you're spending quite a bit of money in paper and in tape and ink and maybe, well, toner and maybe your drum for your printer. This here doesn't take any ink, supposedly, which is kind of amazing how that all works. But you buy these, this thermal paper, and then I bought a little holder that holds it, and it's really great. It prints it right on here. I had to make some adjustments when I got ready to print on eBay. There's on the right side, there's some options there, and you can click on the size label and for it to fit the page and all that. Play around with it until it actually completely fits on here, all of it, your label. And then it's real simple. Then you just peel that baby off from the paper, and it is just like, I mean, this has saved me a ton of time with not taping and all of that. And, you know, it just peels right off, and you stick it on. And then I don't, you know, usually tape over anything because those stick on really great. But on those boxes, obviously you have to tape all the ends and things like that. Even on the poly, on the flat rate padded envelopes, you're supposed to, according to the post office, make sure that that can close all the way. You don't want it to where it's bulging, it's too big, and you can't really get that closed. They might not take it. But even when it closes all the way and you pull that tab off, the ends kind of flap off. I will take tape and tape those ends on the side. They've not ever said anything, and sometimes across here if it's a little tight. But I always, and this is really important, make sure whatever you put in here, that the customer still has room to cut that package open. Most people are probably going to use scissors. And if it's clothing, yes, I have had somebody actually cut a sweater, and I was very, very not happy because they had a lot of extra room. But anyways, you know, you're going to want to make sure that maybe, you know, at least, you know, a half an inch or something, they have room at the top. Once this is closed, that they can cut that and get their item out. I see people are just like writing on Facebook how great they packaged this thing. They stuffed 2 pairs of pants in here and it's bulging and tight. I would be totally pissed as the customer receiving that. I'll be honest. I mean, yeah, it was cool they got that stuffed in there, but how are they going to open it without ruining the item? No matter what it is. I don't know. That's just my opinion on it. But make sure there's room. But the lady that I sold the sweater to, and of course it was more of an expensive item. It was a black cashmere sweater. Beautiful argyle, which is very unusual to come across. It was UC Culture. And it sold for quite a little bit of money. I don't know. It was like, I think like $30, $40. They said there was a hole in it. I knew there wasn't a hole in it because I check it out, and then when I'm listing and I'm measuring and photographing, and you cashmere, you're going to want to really make sure there's no holes in wool and things like that. They returned it, of course, of course they got to do the item not as described because they said there was a hole in it, and I figured right away, I thought they probably cut it opening the package. I get a return, and of course I have to pay for return shipping because I'm not as described. You have to pay for return shipping. And I get it returned to me and take it out of the package, and sure enough, it was exactly a slice that was like an arrow like type thingy. Exactly. You could tell because the item was folded. It was cut with scissors. There's nothing I can do is my word against them. I had to give them the refund because eBay usually will side with the customer. They do. I mean, once in a while. I mean, I could try to fight it, but if eBay would have said no and they sided with that customer and this was an item not as described, I would have got a defect against my account. And you really do not want any defects against your account. There's only a few things that really affect that, and item not as described is one of them. It's okay if you get one of those cases. And as long as you give the refund before eBay steps in at the end to make the decision for you, if you don't refund them right away once you receive the item, if you do it before them, you don't get the defect. But if eBay sides with them, you get the defect. But anyways, that sweater, I made sure she had a lot of room. I mean, the sweater probably only came to here on the bag. Maybe about like right here. I had it all nicely folded and everything. It was real, it was real lightweight and everything. It was just like a size small or something. They had at least this much room to open that. All this room up here. I don't know. And it was in the clear bag too. I don't know. To me, my opinion, that's what it looked like. They cut right through it. But anyhow, let's talk defects for a minute. Since I just mentioned that. There's just a few things, because when you first started selling, you're trying to get up to your top rated, to be, a top rated seller, because that is a benefit. One, it shows on the, when your items are listed, and I think it may raise you up in the views a little higher too. And plus you get a discount on your, final value fees when you're a top rated seller. You're trying to get your level up to that, and it takes a little bit of time, obviously, when you're selling stuff. But once you get up there, how you can lose that is getting those defects. And if you get very many of those defects, they can shut your account down. And then that's it, you're done. You can't sell anymore on eBay. And it doesn't take very many. I mean, you could sell 1,000 items and have one defect and it brings that score down. It don't take very many. You want to really watch it. Another one that you can get against your account is when you sell something and you can't find it. And if you click on out of stock or can't find it, eBay does not like that because they don't want to disappoint the customer, and you can get a defect on your account. You get very many of those, you're going to get a defect on the account and you can get your account shut down. Really try to work on your inventory system, and it's a challenge, believe me. And I'm really great with organization, I'm really great with numbers, but it still can happen. And there's different ways. There's a few people that have mentioned ways around that and things like that. And you can maybe ask the customer if they want to purchase something else from your store instead, or want something else, or if they want you want them to have you cancel the purchase for them. You don't get a defect. However, some people say you're not supposed to do that. I do not know. Investigate that first. But that is some of the options. Now, if you do have a customer that does ask you to actually, like, they changed their mind, or they couldn't come up with the money in time, or whatever, and they ask you to cancel the purchase for them, you have that option when you go to where it's sold, and you can click on, if it's on the cell phone at the bottom, it'll probably say purchase shipping label, and there'll be an arrow. You can click on that, and there's a drop down menu, which I just found that long ago because I don't do that stuff from my phone as much. I just found that you can click on, cancel item, and then there'll be choices, and you won't make sure you click on the right one. Buyer asked to cancel. If you click on that, it'll say automatically relist, and it'll automatically list the item. And if you pulled it out of inventory, make sure you put it back in your inventory. It's going to automatically relist it for you. And that doesn't hurt your account. You don't get any defects on that. If for some reason you're already at top rated seller and you get a few defects and you fall below top rated and you're at standard, I've heard a lot of people say that their sales really slow down. They're not getting visibility. Plus, they're not getting the discounts on their, fees and things like that. A way that you can bring that up a little quicker is sell off a bunch of maybe items a lot cheaper than you planned on. Like if you have a grouping that you can do, just make a whole bunch of sales, because the more sales you have, the quicker you're going to be able to get back to top rated seller, because it's a percent, of how much is sold against, any defects. And maybe just sell off, some items, not all your items, but, some items where sell it cheaper than maybe you planned on or whatever, just to get that rating back up. That's a way that you can get your rating back up also. I know that there's many facets in regards to first selling on eBay, and it can kind of be intimidating, that's for sure. But you will get the hang of it. It will get very easy once you get going and do it a few times. I think that the program is pretty easy for listing. When I do all my listings from my actual desktop. I open my eBay, and at the very top, it'll say selling. There'll be a little one off to the right, and I click on selling, and then over here it'll say, I use templates, so I'll click on one of my templates, but you could sell the item, and then it opens it up, and the first line is your title. And there's a lot of discussion on how you should structure your title, and does it make a difference, and I really do not know if it does or not. I've been selling all this time, and I've tried it a few different ways, and I really haven't noticed a big difference. I don't know, unless I've just always done the majority of the time the way it should be. And there's always a lot of discussion on this. But for example, it doesn't matter if you sell items, individual knickknacks or items or shoes or clothing. But I'll use clothing as an example. Let's say it's a new with tags. I put NWT. And maybe not everybody knows what that stands for, but a majority does. But your listing, eventually, as you go down in the listing farther, you're going to have an option to click on, new with tags, or, new item. And then, it is going to show on the listing that's new. But I put NWT. I probably should type it out also if I have enough room. Then I put the brand. Then I put basically what it is. Let's say it's a brand new with tags, Talbot's cardigan sweater. That's the first words that I would use. Then from there, I put in women. I know, even though you're clicking in the women's section and it's a sweater, you still want it in your title. Women, size, whatever it is, medium. And then from there, I may type open front, long sleeve, or whatever's really important. If it's made out of alpaca or something like that, or cashmere, those words are going to go in there real soon or real close. But that's how I've been doing it lately for the clothes. And, with the shoes, it can be abbreviated for new in the box too. I don't know if you should try to spell it all out, but that uses up quite a bit of your title. But anyhow, we'll have to do another video where I actually pull it up on the screen and go through the different options. And I know if you've been starting your listings already, that there's tons of items, specifics. And they've added them more in the recent years. It didn't used to be anywhere near that. And it's a lot. I make templates up to where I save a template. Like if I have tops, a lot of the things on the whole listing is going to stay the same. Some's not, but a lot is. And the stuff that's not, I leave blank. And then when I pull up the template, I can just fill in those areas. But there's just a lot of item specifics. But you really should fill out as much as you can, because it's for the benefit of selling the item. Because somebody might be searching for a long sleeve, or they might be searching for a cotton blend, or they might be searching for a pair of shorts that are more of the canvas material. Even though you click on material, it says cotton, it'll say material type, and you might have had put canvas there, or the option to click on that, because you can either do their drop down menu, or sometimes most of the time write in something, not on all of the drop downs, but the majority of them. But anyways, and we kept thinking, you know what, I just ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna fill in all that stuff. It's just a waste of time. It takes too much. I'm only gonna do the minimal required, because eBay has minimum required and then additional. Believe me, that minimum required is still a lot, but I still do the additional too, because it really is in your best benefit in the long run to fill out that. But anyhow, if you've done any of your listings already, you'll already understand the process. But I'll have to do another video where I pull up the actual screen and show you, in case you have not done that. But then when you sell an item, it's pretty basic. It's pretty easy. You can walk through it. And I was not computer savvy when I first started out, and I was able to pick it up pretty easily, and learn from there. Amazon was a little bit more of a challenge for me. But as far as eBay, and pretty much for Poshmark, and then too, sometimes you can just Google on YouTube a specific thing that you're trying to figure out on one of the platforms, and see if somebody's done a video on it. And I've also done that with some things too. But anyhow, I just wanted to do this little short video right now to show you the shipping products. And we talked a little bit more today in regards to the defect rate and the listings and things. But I will be doing more. There'll be another part 3. And if you'd like, you can subscribe. And if you haven't seen the first one, you can watch that. I also have a ton of other thrift, videos. It's all clothing for the most part, because that's what I sell. Once in a while I'll pick up other items, but probably all my thrift hauls are going to be all clothes. But I also have eBay tips, and I also have some on Poshmark if you sell over there, or maybe you've been thinking about it. And also, if you could push the thumbs up button, I greatly appreciate that too. Many prosperous sales to you. Thank you.